Invincible Season 3 is out in full on Amazon Prime. This is the animated superhero show based on the Robert Kirkman comic book. All-star voice cast, less of an all-star animation quality, but we'll get to that. This time around we have 8 episodes, around 50 minutes each, and they were thankfully released without a stupid mid-season break that happened in Season 2. Story continues. Invincible is training with Cecil so that he can hopefully become the last line of defense for Earth against the Viltrum Empire. However, it soon becomes apparent that the two men have their differences in terms of methods, morality, and pragmatism, which leads to a conflict and a bit of a falling out. Meanwhile, Mark is also trying to help raise and train his half-brother Oliver, who also has superpowers now, and Mark also wants to finally act on his feelings towards Atom Eve. The Guardians have their own stuff going on. Omni-Man and Alan are still in a Viltrumite prison, and of course there are always villains of the week to beat up. So pretty much more of the same. If you've enjoyed the previous seasons and got this far, you'll like this one too. The writing quality still stands out as the strongest point. The characters are well developed, the main storyline especially is great. I liked everything that had to do with Mark and his gradual journey as a person. I also liked the Machine Head, Kingpin, villain drama, whatever that guy's actual name is. I wasn't a fan of the Guardians storyline. I thought that this one was largely filler, and it doesn't help that I don't really like Rex as a character, and a lot of that stuff revolves around him. But I do have a sneaking suspicion that this whole Guardians thing is going somewhere eventually. So I'm willing to accept these weaker scenes in hopes of a payoff at some point in the future. What I will criticize the show for is the same stuff I did criticize Season 2 for. Towards the end, there are some brutal scenes and very impactful deaths, which unfortunately in some cases are immediately reversed, as is typical in the superhero world. I do think that the story would be much stronger if it had the guts to follow through on these shocking moments, but what can you do? I think the voice cast is phenomenal. There's a ton of well-known names as usual. On the other hand, you have the animation, which, well, is rough. I have to be honest, and I have to say it's pretty bad. The style still looks rather generic, cheap, low quality. It's not a pretty show to look at, even at rest, and when it's moving, it's not really any better. It lacks smoothness and fluidity for the most part. After Arcane showed what you can do in an animated TV show, I think there's really no excuse for what the others, especially Invincible, is doing. I mean, there is one excuse, and it's called the budget. But when you have Amazon money, you could throw a lot more into this project. So I would say that there is no excuse for how bad Invincible looks. The most egregious example is probably the episode where they fight this Chinese dragon villain. It looks abysmal, like a poorly made children's cartoon. I really can't believe that made it through quality control. And I know they can do at least somewhat better, because the final episode is clearly where all the money went this season, as it looks splendid compared to the rest. Suddenly there is fluidity, there is smooth animation, there are a lot of objects on the screen. It looks really good. Now, I will say, pretty much the same as previous 2 seasons, that the strength of the storytelling still outweighs the shortcomings of the visuals for me, so I was able to enjoy and like this season, but just putting it out there that there are certainly areas that it could improve, and who knows, maybe for the next season it does.